My name is Connor Fields, three-time Olympic athlete for Team USA, an Olympic gold medalist, and this is the American Athlete. Well, easy answer of my favorite part of the sport is winning, and easy answer of my least favorite part was losing. When I was a kid, as most kids do, I learned how to ride my bike. And one day I got a flat tire, so my mom and I took my bike into the bike shop to get it repaired. And it was there that she found a flyer advertising the local BMX racetrack. She thought, oh, I think my son would like this. So the following week we went out there and we just watched. And from the time I laid eyes on it, I loved it. And so the following week I tried it, and here we are 23 years later. In the two Olympics that I went to in London and in Rio, BMX racing was on the very last day of the games. So we stayed home to train during that first week, and we showed up at the last minute because we didn't want to give up training time. I breezed through the qualifiers, I breezed through the first day of racing, breezed through the semifinals, and before I knew it, I was sitting in the starting line as the #1 seed in the pole position with the commentator on TV literally saying, I think Connor's gonna win. I was the youngest rider at the Olympics in our event, and I had never been in a major championship position before. So my first try at it was the biggest one possible. And I just didn't have that experience to know how to navigate that. And I ended up making mental mistakes in that final moment where the experience really shines for the athletes who've been there before and they're mature and they know what to do. It was the hardest lesson I ever had to learn, but in a weird way, I think it set me up for what was gonna happen over the next 10 years. What you have to understand is that you spend 4 years dedicating yourself to one race, and there isn't another race next month, there isn't another race next year. You've got 4 years to wait to see if you have another shot. It wasn't hard for me to get back into racing and keep moving forward because I was young, I was excited, there was other races and other events I wanted to do. The challenge that I had was trusting myself in those World Cup, World Championships, international event, pivotal moments. And I made some more mistakes over the next few years because I was hesitating, or I would try too hard, or I wouldn't try hard enough. I didn't know quite what to do in those moments. That was kind of the toughest thing for me to work through, was trusting myself that I wasn't gonna make that same mistake again. The lead up to Rio was absolutely horrible. I was crushing it at the back end of 2015, early 2016. And then in April 1st, I'll never forget, it was April Fool's Day because nobody believed me when I told them. I shattered my wrist. We were in England preparing for a World Cup. And I remember calling my parents and my girlfriend and saying, hey, I broke my wrist, I'm flying home tomorrow. So we get home and I have to go to Vail, Colorado, to the Stedman Clinic to get things looked at. And it was like an absolutely horrible break, lengthy surgery, bone graft, whole thing. It was not your run-of-the-mill fracture. End up missing all of the final events. I can't compete in the Olympic trials, and I have to earn a discretionary nomination to even make the team. So going into that final, I was the #6 seed. Coming into it with a shot, not necessarily the favorite. End up having the race of a lifetime. Everything went perfect. I executed to the literal 100% of my ability. End up winning. It was an amazing feeling, partially because I did the exact opposite of what happened in London, which is where I didn't execute even close to my best. Here, I could not have done any better. So that was like a win within itself for me, but it was a really special thing to cross the finish line and realize you're Olympic champion. And then also to celebrate with your coach and your team manager and your training partners. And my dad was there, and to see them and their joy, and it was like a moment for all of us, was the most special thing. I mean, standing on the podium as they raise the flag and play the national anthem is a moment that you can't even describe. And then waking up the next morning, opening your eyes, looking over, and there's a gold medal sitting on your nightstand. That's a pretty special morning.